This is going to be a different week. After the 2020 gyms closed down, I'm finally back to consistently working out. And as I started tracking my nutrient intake, not only macros, I figured I was not eating enough of nutritious foods. And sweet vegan breakfasts are usually pretty easy to make, but how about protein-full savory ones? Fresh mushrooms absorb a lot of flavor. They are dense in texture and some of them can mimic meat mince or even scallops. They also pair well with beans and greens such as kale or spinach. They're easy to cook, nutrient dense, and very calorie dilute. Here I'm using 2 portobello mushrooms. For the flavor combination, I like playing around with spices. My favorite ones for savory dishes are turmeric. A dash is usually enough, don't go overboard. Cumin, smoked paprika, and nutritional yeast, which can be also fortified with iron, B12, selenium, which plant-based diets tend to be lower on. And while you can use wine or balsamic vinegar to deglaze the pan, this flavorful mixture will take your mushrooms to another level. And you know what else can pair with mushrooms so well? Tomato paste and balsamic vinegar in this combination. They do develop flavor when sent on a medium heat in a couple of minutes, so I'm cooking them for about 2. Mushrooms will absorb a lot of this flavor, and you should allow them to cook down a bit as they release water within about 7 minutes under the lid. While the mushrooms are developing the flavor, I'm rinsing out the black beans. There was a time I cooked black beans in a pressure cooker with onion, garlic, and a touch of chili and bay leaf. But these days I just can't bring myself to do it. Just too many things happening in my life right now. And if you feel the same, rinse out your canned ones quite well. You can add them onto the pan. Black beans is not something that we typically had in the Russian cuisine, and I tried them quite late in life, but I developed quite strong preference for them. Remember the spice mix? It's time to add it in and saute the whole mixture for about 5 minutes or till the liquid is cooked down. It's going to have a really nice consistency for the wrap. I was going to make this video soy free and you can absolutely skip the soy bit, but honestly I love including tofu in moderation, combining with other sources of protein because it is really easily digested because there is just not much fiber in it. I'm gonna use the grill here. It's really simple to use. I got it during the discount season. It's very much worth it. You can make waffles and wraps in it, but you can also use a pan. It's gonna work, just might take a little bit of more effort if you want to flip your wrap. And you'll see that the tofu is going to play nicely with the beans and with the sweetness that comes from the rest of the ingredients, and it's going to create a little bit of a dimension to the texture of the whole wrap. And usually I struggle with wrapping, so I discovered this method which helps stuff tortillas perfectly every time. So to start, you cut your tortilla from the center to the edge and think about it in terms of quarters. When the tofu comes off the grill, we are ready to wrap. There are a couple of things that contribute to the taste here or the flavor. Tomato paste, taste of the grilled food. It just has this special flavor. Spices that we infused into the beans and a touch of balsamic vinegar. By the way, beans are going to be enough for 2 wraps here, so you can make a couple breakfasts. Another flavor component and the texture factor is the creaminess from the vegan yogurt, which you can replace by mashed avocado with a teaspoon of lemon juice. After this, we fold, send it on a grill or pan to develop that crisp that will bring everything together. This is very satisfying to eat. It keeps you full for a while. It is nutritious and it helps you hit daily protein and daily iron intake as a bonus. That is also a very meal prep friendly meal because you can cook the filling during the meal prep and wrap it during the week. By showing you these different kinds of meals in the morning, I would like to emphasize the importance of variety on a plant-based and actually any kind of diet. So today we're switching the protein source from black beans to chickpeas. I really don't think you need to recreate some kind of animal product to enjoy your vegan diet, but this is kind of fun. So to recreate the flavor of tuna, we are going to need a couple of ingredients, starting with chickpeas. And of course, if you don't cook your own legumes, rinsing them through is always a good idea. Usually the liquid is what contains the most starch and sodium. And another reason for rinsing your beans is that you can get the residual metallic taste in the final product. We can continue building up the flavor base, starting with the red onion. And if you are sensitive to onions, you can skip this part. I am, for example, sometimes they give me headaches, but for the rest of us, let's do a rather small dice and go as small as you can. Back to the chickpeas, we need them mashed, but still with a little bit of texture. I love using my hands in general, but these bad boys were out of my league and I felt like I needed to use a fork or something like that. Potato masher did not work, by the way. I feel like the flavor of chickpeas definitely suits the purpose of the vegan tuna dish. But it would be hard to make anything tuna-like without some kind of seaweed. You also see it in the watermelon tuna challenges all around TikTok. I'm using nori here. It's a rather widely available option. The flavor of it is going to saturate the chickpeas in a little bit. Smells like tuna already. If you have some capers, you can cut about 10 capers for the umami flavor, and you can also use some olives for that. Building in a little bit of savory and a little bit of sour notes as well with 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Do not go overboard with this one in here. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, tamari, and a touch of sourness, 1.5 tablespoon of lemon juice. Getting in some fattiness from a neutral flavored yogurt and tahini. You can also reduce the amount of calories that you're consuming by just removing tahini or just using a lower calorie yogurt.
This is brilliant!
Are you hungry yet? Let it sit for around 5 minutes while getting your bread out. I prefer mine toasted and grilled for a crunch, which adds a lot of texture and a lot of satisfaction out of the meal. And the big fat question is, does it taste like tuna?
It does. I don't like to sugarcoat things when it comes to taste. But this thing does taste like tuna. I think it's because of the nori pieces.
So one of my favorite kinds of mushrooms, those are enoki mushrooms. You can find them in the Asian stores. However, in this meal, they can be substituted with something else. Someone on Reddit told me that they look like worms. What? The internet is a really weird place. Enoki mushrooms have their well-deserved place in the Japanese cuisine, and they are also used in Japanese and Chinese medicine. They are high in antioxidants, low in calories, very easy to cook, and maintain a bite once you cook them. This is not a very traditional way of cooking them, but definitely one of my favorites. I start with removing the roots, washing and dry sauteing them on a medium heat. I wait for them to cook down, which takes about 5 minutes, so they can easily absorb more flavor once the liquid is released. It's about to get savory, so let's go in with the nutritional yeast and some smoked paprika for the taste and some nutritional benefits. We are going to deglaze with balsamic vinegar and soy sauce, one of my favorite combos of all times. I was planning to make this video soy free, but oh man, I really do like some soy protein in the morning, and the scrambled egg is probably a classic. But this combination all together, it's so perfect, it's so great. You gotta try it. And as with the wrap, there is some kind of a flavor combination that just makes it so worthwhile for me. Now, silken tofu is best for the scrambled tofu as it is the closest with the tender egg texture. One of the tofu secrets is that you need to drain it. It will help it absorb way more flavor. Silken tofu, however, is rather tender, so to get more water out, you'd want to dry saute it with or without spices. I'm going in with the nutritional yeast for the umami flavor and the color, and some smoked paprika for a more smoky feel, allowing it to cook down for about 5 to 7 minutes on medium heat. Adding a dash of turmeric for color, garlic granules to build up the flavor and the aroma as well, cumin and coriander. I actually never used this much spices before going on a vegan diet. This is the approximate texture that you're aiming for. There shouldn't be much water in there as it's going to leak through the bread, and who likes the soggy bread when it comes to layering? Tomato paste is a super healthy ingredient, and it contains important antioxidants, and it also adds acidity and a savory touch. Tofu mushes and and that's going to make about 2 servings. You can also serve it for lunch or for dinner. And if you're in for the sweet stuff, there you go. Check them out. See ya.